What's up guys, Riley here, and for now I'm going to go over a few things. So you may have seen the little red bronco on the shelves, and I haven't done anything with it. That's because it was my little sister's and I wasn't allowed to do anything with it. But I had gotten the Yeti. There's more to it, it's not just a body. I had gotten the Yeti, and the diffs stripped out in it, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm rebuilding it. I already have the rear end. I just gotta finish putting the screws in it. So I decided, because my little sister didn't really drive the Bronco, maybe she'll trade with me. She wanted a faster vehicle, so we ended up trading the Yeti, my old truck, and the Bronco. So this is now my truck. So that's what today's video will be about. So there you go. I traded my Axial Yeti Jr. for my little sister's Bronco. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing just a few slight modifications to it and see if we can get it to crawl the course. So let's get into it. So starting off, I already have the tire off the back. But for the beginning of this video, we are going to do a course run, a before and after course run. So let's go ahead and get into the stock course run. So I've got the Bronco out here. It's a little loud, so I might have to cut the sound off and play some light music over it. But we're going to be going over the course. This is a pretty tough course even for our good crawlers, but it's nothing much. We'll see if we can get over it, and then we'll get to the upgrades. And we're also going to do some upgrades like hexes. I've got some aluminum ones and stuff. Figure out what I have just to make it more durable. So let's get to crawling. So if you've had a Bronco before, you would know that it's very top heavy. So that's one challenge we're going to try and fix. So it looks like I can take the easy route. It'll do pretty good. But you got to be really slow with it. Almost tipped over there. See if we can drive this beast one-handed. Looks like our bumper is catching. See if we can reset. The body posts are lifted so that the interior can clear the ESC, because that's a problem with the Bronco. That's why when you get the Bronco, the ESC is on crooked. There we go. First rollover. So far it hasn't done too bad. But let's keep going. There we go. As you can see, those shocks are super bouncy. We're gonna take this route. Ah, we rolled over. Now, let's see if we can get back up the other way. I haven't really attempted it, but I also haven't made it. The few short attempts I've tried. That bumper might have to go, but I don't know. We'll see. She's trying. There we go. That servo's struggling. Let's see if we can take just a little bit harder of a line. Try and keep it from flipping. That definitely wasn't the best line to take. So let's go ahead and reset. So I'm going to try and stay over to the left without doing that. Roll over number 3. We're number 4. I'm going to try. I don't know if we're going to be able to go that way. Looks like I got a feeling we're going to roll over. Whoa. We rolled over, but we saved it, so I'm not going to count that one. We'll go straight across. There we go. That's a good line for this. One thing you gotta be careful is dragging this body. I'll set you guys down so I can get 2 hands on the remote. So far, it's not too bad. I don't know if we're gonna make it. We'll have to just gonna send it. Oh, roll over number 5, I think. Let's keep going. Man, this is such a great looking truck. See, that bumper's really gonna have to go. Keep on going. Here we go. So, it made it both ways. We had a couple rollovers. And we'll try and take that same path after the upgrades. But as you can see, it wasn't a bad truck. It does really good. That bumper we'll have to do something with. Since I have the body raised, we might flip it over, because as you see, there's a giant gap. That looks terrible. Also, the body's not all the way on, but whatever. But let's go ahead and get in the shop and see what we can do to it. So, there you have it. We did the first run with the Bronco, and it wasn't too bad. That was probably my best run I've had with this. There's definitely a difference in the tires. The top of the tires don't feel bad, but it's just the sidewalls that I think really ruins them. If the sidewalls were just a little bit softer, these tires would be pretty good, I think. But honestly, I think these are some of the best tires Axial has put on one of these. I know they are kind of the same. They're the same tire as what's on the Jeep, the stock Jeep. But these are actually a little smaller, if I'm correct. If I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. They might be the same. It could be the rims, but I also think they're wider. So that might be the rims, but I don't know. Maybe we'd have to do a comparison. But let's go ahead and figure out what we've got in our parts bin right here. So I've got this parts bin. We've got a few. I do have an Enduro motor that we might put in it later. And I've got some hot racing shocks. Some little 32 internal springs. But they actually have less travel than the stock shocks. So I don't think I'm going to use those. At least I think they have less travel. So if we do this, they're both 32. I think they're the same. Looks like they're the same. They might have just a little more actually, but I'm not sure. I'll figure that out sometime. But we need to figure out what we're going to do with the shocks. And we're going to do some bumper. We're going to flip the bumper over. So, for starters, we're going to unplug the lights. Because I do want to keep the lights in it. I'm hoping to make this a scale build. That would be nice. But wherever the parts take us is where we're going to land. Bumper mount is flipped. Alright, let's screw the bumper in. I'm just going to put one screw in it to hold it for now and make sure the body fits. If the body doesn't fit, then I'm just going to leave it off. There we go. That fits way better. So, easy peasy. Got the bumper flipped over. And I really think that I probably gained about 1/4 inch of clearance right there, which is awesome. It fits the body way better. There's not much of a gap. Well, when I move the body there is, obviously. But there's not a gap or anything. The body's on crooked. It looks pretty good. I'm going to see if I can move it back a little. But I don't think so. Alright, so I tried to push the body, not the body, but the bumper in just a little bit more. But it was interfering with the front of the body right here. I could trim the bumper, but maybe we'll do that later on. We might actually take the bumper off, because I think I kind of like the body without a bumper. But, I don't know. We'll see later on. Now, I think the next thing we're going to work on is shocks. So, if you have had an scx24, you know how bad the stock shocks are. So, I'm going to get these wheels off so that we can access the shocks just a little bit easier. So, there we go. Got it jacked up, and I'm going to take the shocks off and see what we're going to do with them. Not too sure. I might swap some different springs on them, depending on how the springs I have do. I'm not sure they're going to do very well. And then when we reinstall the shocks, we're going to relocate them. And we're going to add the aluminum hexes onto the wheels before we put the wheels back on. So I'm going to start taking these shocks off. So there we go. As you see, I took all the shocks off. So, I have the shocks here. Everybody knows they're terrible. They're just boing, boing. So I've got a few options. I can take the springs off and see how that does. And as long as I move the shock mounting point down to the chassis, as long as I do that, it should lift up the body good enough to keep the tires or anything from rubbing. But let's see. Slide these back together, and there we go. We got our first set, our first shock done. I'm actually just going to throw these in the bin because I think I have some without springs already. So, I'm going to go get those. So, here I have my 4 shocks. Then we'll get these shocks back on, replace them, or not replace, but move them down to the chassis. little Bronco has had some modifications done to it. But Riley, it doesn't look any different. Well, it wasn't much done to it. There wasn't much that I could do to it, but still keep it stock. So I ended up not putting the aluminum hexes on it because I only had 2 for whatever reason. The shocks on the rear have been relocated, and the bumper has been flipped over and the body has been raised so that it all fits together. So, after taking a little bit of time to do some slight upgrades, it's time to see how this thing does. So, got the Bronco outside after the modifications. It's time to do some running. So to start off, the rear end is lifted a little bit higher than the front end, so I think that's going to help with it tipping back. I'm going to attempt to do this without any flip overs, but we'll see what happens. I really like this V2 ESC. Nice and smooth. So we're still having problems with that bumper. Gotta be careful. And we rolled over, but we landed. So comment down below if y'all think that counted. I'm gonna drive back up here, see if we can get a good spot. See if I can one-handed. Gotta make sure I choose my line very wisely. Keep missing the truck with the camera. See that front wheel's pulling up. There we go. So have we gotten any rollovers yet? I don't think we're gonna count the one, but we'll see. Hung on our axle on this rock. There we go. We went the first way. Now time to turn around. So after filming the first run, I did a little bit more running, and I was kind of struggling getting up this part. That bumper cleared it way better than before. That tire wants to grab and flip it over. Whoa. Ah, flip over number 1. I'm gonna set the camera down so I can two-hand this controller. Bumper still kind of rubs. Careful not to flip over again. I don't know how I did this before, honestly. Landed. Let's see if we can pick a different line to get up. Got up that no problem at all. I was just trying to get situated to get up this next rock. Don't want to drop in that gap, because that's what makes it flip over. There we go. Moving on. The bridge is obviously going to be easy. I'm driving right-handed, and that's definitely not a good way to drive. Let's see how we make it going back through. set you guys up so you can see good. Try and work my way over to the right some. Go around the rock. Gotta watch the back tire on it. Keep going. We almost got in a sticky situation there, but we were able to get out, save ourselves. There we go. So we made it over. It was definitely, I don't know if it was better, honestly. The bumper was giving me way more clearance. I noticed going the way we just did, going up the step style rocks. So I'm glad about that. But I don't know, just there's not much you can do with a stock rig, especially mostly like the Bronco. The C10s you could do a lot, but we're just gonna have to learn and see what we can do with it. But were the upgrades truly worth it? Or not upgrades, but whatever you want to call it, relocation of the shocks, whatever. I think that the bumper was definitely worth it. Like I said, you're getting more clearance. The shocks, I like the no springs. Those were a lot better, but I don't think it was a difference. I don't think I got any difference while moving the shocks. I think the best thing so far I've done is taking that wheel off, no springs in the shocks, and flipping that bumper over. I think that's probably your best bet with this thing without doing any upgrades. But yeah, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment down below some upgrades you would like to see on this. And I'll see you guys later.